from Tomcat Gas Training, and welcome to this video all about this product. Now the product we're going to be looking at today is the PIPELAGGER, which is basically a mitre saw. Now in the old days we used to use one of these to cut our 45 and 90 degree mitres, but this has been out for a couple of years now, and I've bought it to do another video, so we might as well unbox it, find out what we've got, put it together and see how to use it. So as usual on Tomcat videos, let's get on with it. Now let's unbox or unbag this PIPELAGGER Pro and find out exactly what we get in here. Now what this has been designed for is so we can cut lagging to the right angles. So this is what we used to use in the old days. We'd use this to get our 45 and 90 degree mitres, but this one has a special trick as well. It also can give us T-pieces. So it doesn't just cut 45 and 90 degree mitres, it will also give us a T to do an intersection. So let's get it unbagged, as they say. Anyway, so piece of cardboard. So the first thing we see is this little beauty. Now this is a toothless saw. So as you can see, there is no teeth whatsoever on there. We just got this little cover, which you should make sure you put back on all the time, don't just throw that away. Now the reason why it's a toothless saw is because if it had teeth, it would rip the lagging. So we need to make sure this is incredibly sharp all the time. And to do that, we have this little implement. So it's got two ends to it. Now the one way you can see here, where it's kind of two pieces crossed together, that's where you sharpen the saw, and we'll look at sharpening it in a minute. And the other end is actually for if you do a chip. If you put a chip in the blade, you can use that for clearing the blade. So this pretty much makes this saw going to last forever, as long as you're using it on lagging, obviously, and you can't use it on wood or anything like that, because would it cut very well? Possibly would, but there you go. Just use it for the lagging. Okay, so that's the first two things. Next thing is, oops, we've actually got one side and the other side, and then we've got two stainless steel, look like the stainless steel, and they look like just average stainless steel bolts. Are they 12mm? 10 or 12mm anyway. So we've got locking nuts as well, so let's take the locking nuts off. And you can see that this PIPELAGGER Pro on this side has recesses for the bolt heads to go in to stop it turning. So that's the first thing we need to do, is put them in. And then we need to use a lock nut on each end to keep it in place. Now you could use a spanner on there, I guess, an adjustable spanner or whatever, but hand tight seems to be good. Then we need to put two more of the lock nuts on for the other side. And this is what's going to be our adjustment for different thicknesses of lagging. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then make sure that this goes in the right way, and then that can slide onto there. And we can put our final two lock nuts on there. So depending on the wall thickness and the size of the lagging will depend on what you adjust this to. You could actually put some wing nuts on there if you wanted to. So that's what it looks like when it's put together. Okay. So what we've got here is we've got a square end where we can cut the lagging square. We've got a 45 degree mitre here, And then we've got on this section here, we've got our 90 degree. And then this here is what we'll use to make the T. Okay. So that's what it's like when we're set up. So let's have a look at using it then. Now let's have a look at sharpening this toothless saw, because it says before we use it we must sharpen it. Now this is the guard which we said comes with it. Now I've actually seen on the internet that you can actually get a decent guard for that. So if you do buy a guard for it, then you can discard that, or you can just use this. Now it says when we're sharpening we must use the end where these two ceramic, I don't know what they are, sticks in this end. So it's the one where there's the two ceramic sticks. And what it says is hold that firmly on the bench and do small backwards and forward strokes. In the action that you're going to actually be cutting the lag in, which is going to be using the round part of the blade. So you go right to the end, because you're going to be doing that action when we're cutting the lag in, not that. It's going to be a, and it'll give you a nice clean cut. So PIPELAGGER process. Now actually on the blade itself it gives you the instructions as well to look after the blade. But remember, when we've finished using this blade, always make sure you put your little guard on there, because always health and safety. Now, according to PIPELAGGER, there are 9 variations for this. That is, it will fit lagging of 15, 22 and 28mm copper pipe with a wall thickness of 13, 19 or 25mm. So that's your 9 variations. Now the lagging I've got here is 35mm internal diameter with a wall thickness of 13mm. Now this should still fit in here because it's only got a total outside diameter of, well, it's only got a diameter of 61mm. So it should still fit in here and should still give us a good cut. But we'll find out whether it's got 10 variations or not, because I think this is where most plumbers, gas engineers, well, most gas engineers are going to use it. Plumbers are going to use it for the 15, 22, 28, but a lot of gas engineers are going to need to use this kind of implement when they're doing the condensate pipe outside, and you won't be using this lagging. But anyway, have a look at other videos I've done about the lagging for condensate, and you'll see that, because it's getting incredibly important now because of the changes to the British standards, the building regs and manufacturers' instructions for boilers, that the condensate must be lagged now. Okay, so we're going to try it anyway. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we need to set our actual PIPELAGGER Pro to the right thickness. So what we do is we slacken off the 2 nuts here, and we also slacken off the nut there and the nut there, so it can slide. We then place our lagging we're going to be using inside and push it down under gravity. So make sure we've undone these quite a distance, so it fits snugly onto the lagging. So it kind of grips it. So you can still slide it, but it grips it. So that's about right. We can now tighten up these 2 here and the ones at the back. So that now supports the wall thickness of the lagging without crushing it, he says. So that's now gripping the lagging and supporting the wall thickness without distorting the end of the lagging. So that's how we set that up. Now the last thing on setting it up, if you are using 15mm lagging with a 13mm diameter thickness, then we have to remove the locking nuts. So now we've removed all the locking nuts, when we actually push these two sides together, PIPELAGGER have designed these two faces here to keep it spaced apart evenly and perfectly for the lagging, which would be 15mm with the 13mm wall thickness. So that's the only other thing left about setting this up. So the reason for setting this up correctly is when we're doing the lagging, we don't want this crushing the lagging and distorting our angled cut. So always make sure you set this, as I've shown you, to the right thickness. So finally, let's try and cut some lagging with this. Now the first cut I'm going to do is just a standard 90-degree cut. Okay, so you can see here in the V, this is what we would use when we're cutting the T out, but you can see this line continues down there to give us our 90-degree cut. Now I keep saying 90-degree angles and 45-degree angles, but I think from the video now you're realising the cuts are 45-degree cuts to make a 90-degree angle and 22.5 cuts to make a 45-degree angle. So don't put comments down at the bottom where I keep saying the wrong angle, because I already know. Enjoy the rest of the film, guys. This lagging has a split in it. So one thing you must try and do is work out where that split's going to be, whether it's to the side, whether it's to the back, or however you're going to do it. That's entirely up to you. One of the things you don't want to do is actually see it at the top here, so I've put the split right down to the bottom. Okay, now again we get the saw, and what we're going to do is we're going to follow the profile and go straight down that split there with this twisting action. So we've gone right the way through. Now that should give us the perfect 90-degree bend, and my split is on the top. So is that where you want it? But it's in the inside there. So that's your perfect 90-degree. And I would say that has worked perfectly for this lagging. That is a pretty good cut. So it doesn't just do 28, 22 and 15. I think it does this certainly good enough for when you're on site. That's a pretty damn good 90-degree cut. So let's have a look at the 45 one. Now next angle we're going to do is the 45. So if again I slide my lagging in here, but this time I'm going to be using this one here, and again it's just and that gives me now, and that is a 45-degree angle. Now another thing we can use a 45-degree angle for is if we've got a long radius bend. So we've basically got a pulled bend by using a pipe bender. Now if we try to use a 90-degree angle on that, it wouldn't fit. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to build it around in sections. So what I would need to do with this is cut it going this way. So the first thing I've got to do is slide the pipe the opposite way to the way I've just done it, making sure it's in the right place. And I can now slice it again that way. So now I've got that piece. So that added to that. So if I cut another piece now with another 45, so I'll do a square cut first. So that's my first piece. That's going to go like that. And then if I cut another 45 like that, that now gives me a 90-degree bend, which is hard to do, holding it, which gives me a 90-degree bend using 45-degree angles. So it's something like that, and that allows you then to go around the corner. So that's using the 45 degrees. Now the last one I want to cut is the T, putting a T in. And this time I've slid the legging in so the slit is at the top, because that's important when you're doing a T. So I've finished it flush there. To make the first part of the T, we've got to make sure we don't go all that way through there, because we will cut a 90 degree. So I'm going to cut it this way first till it stops. Okay, then I'm going to go that way. And that's now cut a section out for us. I'm now going to slide that across and cut us a square end. So we've now got the first part of our T, and that would fit over the T by opening. That's why it was important to get the middle sections there. Okay, so that's the first part. Now what we need to do to get the other part is I'll slide that to the end and I'll spin that around. So the first thing I need to do is I need to cut that way. Okay, then I need to flip it over, and you notice this actually stands up the other way as well. And now I can go this way, pull that out, and I've now got the perfect T. So I've just made a T section, which will slide. That one will go over the pipe like that. That'll be already on the pipe, and it makes a lovely T. And that's the end of my video on this PIPELAGGER PRO. Now if you want to buy one of these, this cost me off the interweb 50 quid. I believe you could get them a little bit cheaper, but 50 quid for the full kit. So that's what I paid, and I'm going to be using this all the time now. So it's a must tool that every gas engineer should be using. And as usual, if you've liked this video, why don't you give me that thumbs up or leave a constructive comment down below. If you've not subscribed to our channel, then please subscribe, and I've gone over 5,000 now, so thanks very much for everybody for that. I really appreciate it. So don't forget to hit that notification bell, because I release videos mainly on Mondays and Wednesdays. All I've got left to say is thanks for listening, thanks for watching, tune in and see you on the next one. Cheers guys.